Top mistress of the banging misses and videos. While I'm with my freak like we up in the freak shows. Hit you with the shit, make you feel it all in your toes. Hot shh, got all my people in red clothes. Styling my metaphors when I formulate my flows. If you don't know, you're messing with lyrical player pros like that. Wanna party with me?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our Wednesday night edition of the Walking His Ways Impact Force podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. I'm the co-host alongside with me is Chassie out of my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. We're back with y'all on this great Wednesday, and tonight we're going to be discussing the topic of community and mental health. We include notable speakers such as George P. Brooks, the founder of Metta Association, in the building with us. Also, we got Carl Roberts, a motivational speaker from RiseandElevate LLC here in the Fort Worth, Texas. As well, we got Patricia Law, the founder of W.O.M.B out of Mobile, Alabama, entrepreneur in her own rights. And this is something we're talking about. We're talking about the community and mental health. We know mental health discussions has been coming up. It's been coming up for quite a few years now. It's something that was never really discussed back in the 90s, 80s, 70s on up. But it was always kept in-house, but more transparency transpire by us talking about these topics, addressing these things that are taking place when it comes to the mental health aspect, especially when it comes to our community. So no further than to go along, go ahead, Jordan. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience here on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. You muted.
All right, my name is George P. Brooks, CEO and founder of Metta Association, a nonprofit that I started 6 years ago. We focus on Black male mental health. We fight recidivism and promote fatherhood. I myself am living with a mental illness diagnosis. I beat a 10-year addiction of cocaine, divorce trauma, childhood abuse, and many other things. So I use my testimony to try to help people. One reason I'm glad that we are having this forum this evening is because now we're starting to see as Black people, as diaspora, how much mental health not having affected it or addressed it is affecting us, affecting our communities in terms of crime, in terms of broken homes, in terms of disenfranchisement. So I'm glad that we're having this discussion. I look forward to what we can uncover this evening.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And also we got Pat back with us. She's no stranger to the show. Pat, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience here on Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat Law. I live in Mobile, Alabama. I'm very grateful to be on tonight. I think this subject matter is very serious and is definitely affecting so many communities and families all over this United States. So I'm looking forward to the dialogue tonight. And as the gentleman said, hopefully we can uncover some things that can help others. Thank you.
Hey, most definitely. And also, we got Carl back with us. He's no stranger to the podcast. Rise and Elevate motivational speaker out of Fort Worth, Texas. Carl, go ahead and introduce yourself.
How you guys doing out there today? My name is Carl Roberts with Rise and Elevate. Rise and Elevate is a motivational movement to promote positivity where it's no negative nothing. That's my motto. And I won't get everybody words of encouragement, and I'm going to uplift everybody throughout the world. I'm telling you. So I love this podcast. We need it. We need to come together. And this is one of the things that I always wanted to have, is us to come together and talk about it. And now that we're talking about it, other people can keep talking about it, and we can get a resolution to it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I also got J1 back with us, of course. J1, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm Chastity. First of all, I'm grateful to be a co-host on a podcast. It's definitely something great for our community. But I'm really looking forward to tonight's topic because this is something that we do not talk about enough.
Most definitely. And this is something that's very important. It's something that is transpiring right now in our community. And also it's all about what bringing the solution, right? Finding a solution to the problem. You know you have a problem, but you also have a solution for the problem. And we know that I have individuals on this show who are solution based. And we know it starts somewhere. Right. And once it starts, so once we get the thing going, it will start spreading abroad, I believe. You know, they say charity start at home, then spread abroad. So everything start with us first before we go on the show. Everything start with us first. So I know, George, you're an advocate. Of course, you're a nonprofit organization for mental health. That's how I met you on social media, and how important it is to address the matters at hand. Because we know when it comes to mental health, the jail system, we have a lot of men and women, but mostly a lot of men who are being incarcerated. I like to say, I still work inside the field, so I know what goes on.
Right.
And a lot of young men, not young men, but men in general, who are being incarcerated and they have mental issues. We see it especially here. If you go downtown Dallas, you see a lot of homeless, especially homeless men, dealing with mental health, talking to themselves, fighting with themselves.
I think a lot
They
of
don't
it, well, oh, I'm sorry. But you know, the
No,
thing is, as far as being solutions oriented, it really starts with education and destigmatization. Those two things have to take place first, because as long as we enter into having dialogue about mental illness with that same old stereotype and mindset of the crazy cousin at the end of the hallway at Big Mama house, or the guy on the corner all the time, we're gonna stay stuck in the area where we're not gonna be open to having and understanding what mental illness actually is. And one thing we have to impart, especially among our people, is the fact that it's not just something that's in your head, it's a biological issue. So the part of our solution is actually starting with explaining what is a mental illness, what does it look like, what is it like, so maybe now they start to feel differently about that person they may have ostracized or that person they may have shunned. So that's really where any solution becomes, any revolution is started out of dialogue. And I'm glad we're able to have that discourse this evening.
And also, and I know, Pat, I know you're an advocate for our community, of course, especially when it comes to having total freedom. And I know we talk about this mental slavery. We know mental slavery still exists to this day.
Yeah,
they told about.
Yeah.
Right. The things that they enacted mentally during slavery are still working today.
Yes.
From even the breakdown of our family, the first thing they did when they ran us through the Caribbean to bring us over here to sell us into bondage was separate the men from the families. The military were the first people to be separated. Some of them even castrated. So that's how deep this stuff goes as far as us as Black folks in America in 2024 dealing with the mental illness. We got to deal with our mental illness that we've run away from continually, as well as dealing with what's been heaped upon us by those that held us in bondage.
You're so on point with that. We talked about 200 years ago, 1824, 1924, and now we're present day 2024. And some of the same issues that are more modern, but they're similar to our past. And I think until we unravel and really take ownership of the things that's devastating us and look it in the eye, then we're going to continue on the same path.
Yeah,
and some of those stories and situations are so horrible. I mean, if you watch the news, you'll see so much crime that's inflicted on people that look like us. And how can we hold on to so much hate in our hearts towards someone that looks like us?
You know how we fix it?
Pardon me?
It's one way to fix that. You got to not be afraid to cry. You got to not be afraid to process those emotions that lead to us striking out against people that look like us. We got to go on to be able to cry about that bondage, about the things that Big Mama did, the things that bother us, and that's not even dealing with the diagnosable issues. We got a lot to unpack, and we really got to get started and get proactive doing it. I'm a strong advocate for therapy. I've been in therapy for 6 years. Saved my life. I'm all for Black men getting in therapy. I'm all for Black men getting in touch with their emotions. I'm not saying you got to be boohooing walking down the street, but at the same time, you can find constructive ways to deal with your emotions. And I don't mean to hijack everything. It's just this is something I'm passionate about.
Right. And that's understandable. It's more so your field. And, I do understand that. However, just as you mentioned earlier, Furman, you mentioned so many brothers are walking up and down the street talking to themselves. Many of these individuals are previously incarcerated individuals. And
Right.
some of the things that they suffer inside those barbaric prisons and jails are so horrifying. And the one thing that I also have issue with is, how does our federal government, how does the taxpayers' dollars pay these salaries for people that are supposed to look out for those individuals? Many of our young Black males are becoming incarcerated on a daily basis. And I think once we can totally unveil the issues that get them there, and I think we talked in one of the previous podcasts how this music is luring them in to a pit of hell. And I don't understand why we have not, as a people, attacked those areas, those issues, the record labels, the radio stations, Cumulus Broadcasting, iHeartRadio. If you are allowing this poisonous music and you're making millions and billions of dollars off of killing off our babies, our children, and mentally distorting them, they should be held accountable for that. I mean, we should be mad as hell about that.
True. And many, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think we have to figure out some things about ourselves first. It comes back from upbringing. So I do agree, counseling and, therapy, it helps. It helped me a lot through life. It helped me a lot to go to the next level. It's ways that you can sit back and figure out who you are first.
Right.
So you can give to other people.
Right. Because you have to
all do that. We have to all know that we are a special person. We all have to know that we all are a good person, that we can contribute something to, the community. We have to be a voice for the community.
But
so
before we can give one drop of ourselves or anything to the community, we must generate a sense of self-interest within ourselves, and that with that comes the going into therapy, the dealing with the things, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think that's what a lot of us are trying to do, especially as Black men. We sitting around, we the walking wounded. We sitting here with gaping wounds on our psyche. We sitting here with gaping wounds on our hearts, on our souls, and our spirits, and we just making it through the day. But now it's time to heal so we can function at our full capacity.
Right.
Absolutely.
Once we do that, then we can deal with things like the music and the media, like the undue influence. You know why the music has such a strong grasp on our young people? Because the men are not in the homes. We're not in the homes to tell them, Johnny, this is just a song. Don't live there. Because that's how my father would tell me, son, you can listen and watch what you want to. I really don't care. But just know, if you jump off the roof like you see on TV, you're a fool.
Right.
We need to get back to. And that's what we have called.
Because 80% of parenting is single moms. The dad is nowhere in the picture.
I think that I don't think, well, I'll say this from my experience, it's definitely more fathers involved in what that statistic leads me to believe and has led me to believe all my life. I think they find a way to skew the data sometimes to keep us in a negative mindset about our Black men as well.
True. I agree with that. One of the things that the W.O.M.B organization, which stands for Women Overcoming Many Barriers, one of the things that we've set forth in doing is celebrating the Black man. I mean, we understand that since slavery, you have always been a target. Anytime a person is beat down for so long, it takes a minute for them to get back up. So we want to use our influence as women to know, to share with our brothers, to let them know. I don't care if you're from a homeless individual to someone who has a PhD. We want you to know that you are so important, and whatever has been robbed from you, we want you to get that back in your life. Yeah. And I think the more that we share love, share support, be that, and women, let me give women this credit. We've always been on the forefront from slavery days, from being there when our men were being lynched, castrated. We took the courage to go out front and deal with master, possibly even raped or what have you, in order to protect her family, her man. So in this present day, we have to do the same thing and take our focus off of issues that are not important. We have been led to believe that your value is only in what you have, what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you have, and things of that nature. When in actuality, the basic, simple principles of an individual just being who they are and giving what they can give. I don't care if it's just taking the trash out or mowing the lawn, you still are bringing something to the table. So we have to take a look at what we're praising and what we're idolizing to the point where we put more value on material things than on the value of an individual's life.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that value.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I said, go ahead, George.
I wanted to speak on women's role too. I'm holding a Metta Men's Summit, a virtual summit on June 15th. And I don't want people to think, and that's Father's Day weekend, I don't want people to think it's exclusively for men. I'm very, very, very cognizant of the fact that for us to heal as Black men, we need Black women to help us heal. The thing is, right now, we're so early in trying to figure out where we are. We're trying to figure out where y'all fit in our healing, but I know that you all are a part of it. So I invite y'all to the summit as well. But just know, I'm never going to be antagonistic toward our Black women or any woman, ever. Sometimes we might have to have some discussions, may get heated along this process because it's going to be a long process for us to get better.
I agree with that. They come together because I mean the women are real smart. They got your back, and for them having our back, they're gonna uplift us. We can uplift each other, and that way we can grow, as a community.
Yeah,
that's all it's about. Right.
Because two things really a man needs from a woman. These are not the only things, but these are two important things. You need a woman that brings him peace, and he needs a woman that supports him. Now, by support him, I don't mean take care of him. I mean, when he's working hard, come get him a cup of coffee, put your hand on his shoulder, ask him is he doing okay. That's support. That's that you're thinking about. That's the two things I'm looking for. I'm looking for a wife. So those two things I'm looking for right now. But those two things that are very important to me. But they had to tie into mental health because that's about building a healthy relationship. And a lot of times in our mental health, we think we do things to make our mental health better, but we stay in a bad situation. It's just like when I beat my addiction, I realized I can't beat my addiction and still live in the same neighborhood. So I relocated from Memphis to Dallas. And how many of us are unfulfilled in our church home, still going to the same church? At the doctor, not getting better, still going to the same doctor. But having turmoil in our mental and emotional health, but we still have those same people around us. We still working the same job. We still doing the same thing. And that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
That's true.
You said it.
So once we start dealing with those things, we can start to sort out our mental health. We can start we can start to sort out our relationships. But that's really it's infinitesimal, the beginning of it. We're in the embryonic state of where we need to go. But we well on our way there, and I'm happy, to see that's.
I believe we are on the right track. I'm looking at something. I know, Pat, you mentioned something about back in slavery. Women was raped with master, but also the men were raped too. It was called. They did a process called butt breaking.
Correct.
Butt breaking. Are y'all familiar with that? With the butt breaking.
I'm familiar.
Butt breaking. Okay, so it typically begin with the flagging or whipping of the enslaved man, which was a common form of punishment during slavery. After the physical punishment, the enslaved man will be sexually assaulted or raped by a slave owner or oversee offer in front of other slaves. So you have to think about it. While the man was being sexually assaulted and raped, this stuff would happen in front of his wife and children.
Right.
Horrible.
So that breaks him because she thinking in mind, well, how you gonna protect us when you allow this other man to take advantage of you like that?
Yeah.
That was then, and then now. Let's compare present day. If we compare present day, I'm sure we all notice that homosexuality is on the rise, lesbianism is on the rise. And I think the channel of, and we talked about this also, Furman, that when so many of our brothers become incarcerated, many of them are raped while they're there in there. And when they come back out into society and try to adapt and have this hidden pain, this mental breakdown going on the inside,
Yeah.
all of these things are so cruel, right?
Yeah.
So as we find solutions to these situations, we know they exist. So if we took the family, the Black family, and took a hardcore look at the lures, what I mean by lures is what the traps that lead us down the wrong road. If we take a minute and take the time and assess those things, I think we can get to the root cause of many of these issues. Now, we know that there's an alarming rate of incarceration, and uh, that's something very dear to my heart because I hate to see so many potentially great males, whether they're in their teens or adult males, that have so much potential. Now, I do understand also that you play the race card. You know, racism has definitely played a major part in the downfall of our brothers. You've been hated from day one, and with good reason, because the Black man is so valuable, so smart, so strong, so potentially great. And we know who the adversary is that hates that from even the buck breaking day. So with that being said, again, we have to identify these tricks of the devil, the lures that trick our minds, that make us think that, we've got to rob, we've got to kill and steal instead of uh, thinking, just thinking of a better way of coming together. And then also, we as a people, we have got to stop working against each other until we learn to appreciate the value that each of us bring to the table, you know, and use that value instead of being jealous or player hating or whatever you want to call it. We have to look at the value of each of us. Our children are counting on us. When I hear stories of third graders reading on a first grade level, when I hear of third graders taking their private parts out and showing it to little girls because of whatever they're being exposed to, either at home or somewhere, we've got a lot of breakdown that we've got to address within the Black family, the Black community, and own it. We've got to own these bad things that we do to ourselves as well.
Patricia, I want to piggyback on something that you said. You said that the problem was racist, and you are absolutely right. But to fight this, let's look a little further. It's also socialist. It's also ageist. It's also misogynistic. It's also systemic. It's class war. It's ethnocentristic. It's all those things. It's so much more than racism these days, because there's so many other factors that go into how we're treated as a diaspora. It's not just the color of our skin. It's also how much money we make. It's also our credit. We put so much of our value on all these extemporaneous, intangible things that it drags us down.
That's right. The trinkets.
Yeah, trinkets.
But I'll let like values, everything. Most of that stuff don't even matter. We got to figure out how to come together. We so in this big old thing of what materialistic things and what people got, and looking at social media and trying to keep up with the Joneses and all that. We missing the big picture, guys. I'm telling you, we got to figure out how to get to these guys, people head, and not to get to the big picture, which is the community sticking together, loving each other, having a big
How we gonna fix the community? How we gonna fix the community? We don't engage anymore. We spend all our time on social media. See, we got to get people out talking to each other again.
That's right. So we gotta have activities for these
right.
for people. We gotta have different activities.
We need fellowship. We need to go back to fellowship in our communities.
Marbles.
Go back to what?
Fellowship in our communities.
Fellowship. Yeah.
You know, go back to just the activities we had when we was young. You know, to get the people engaged with each other and talking to each other. You know, and caring for. If we, one thing I know, if we sit here talking to somebody, we're not gonna hate on the next person. If we loving that person, we playing with that person every day, we're gonna love each other. You know, the hatred ain't gonna come out until you as at a distance, and then now you seeing what somebody got, and now you hate them for no reason.
One thing though, in terms of the Black condition, in terms of the standing of many of our communities, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's personal accountability.
Right.
If you choose to have 5 kids by 10 different daddies and wonder why your life is not organized, it's kind of your fault. If you choose to propagate yourself and have kids everywhere and wonder why the government keep taking your taxes every year, that's kind of your fault. So
that's right.
People, and just like don't sit up there and complain and try to. This is me talking kind of more real right now. Don't sit up there and complain.
Let's do that
about men, about how all men ain't no good and women all this, and you sit up here and you keep putting yourself in a bad position. That's the point I just made about the addiction. You can't keep putting yourself in a bad position in terms of relationships and thinking it's gonna get better, because you know that you're putting yourself in the same thing. But here's the thing: after about the second or third time, you need to realize it's something with you to keep getting you in that same spot as well.
Look in the mirror.
You know, take inventory. Take inventory of yourself, because we see more and more. We have more and more children out of wedlock than anything. You see that on social media, where these girls are having babies by themselves. You don't see the guy nowhere. Yeah. But we're promoting that. We saying it's okay and it's not okay. It's not good. Where you see other race, you see the father, the mother, the children. But then within our community, you just see the mother, the kids, but the man not. And I say not. And a lot of these guys don't even be daddies either. I'm gonna get that straight too, because some of these guys going around spreading these seeds. They the one creating these single mothers, knowing they can't even take care of themselves. Every time you hear these guys' conversation, they always talking about having sex. They don't use no protection. You get these women pregnant. They get incarcerated. I see this all the time too. A lot of these guys out there, man, I gotta get to my kids, and then they proud of it. Yeah, I got 5 baby mamas, and like,
or they come out and spread something to her.
But then,
yeah, because they slept with men all the time.
What about
they went there?
What about when they just in that cycle and just using the state, and they having these babies using the state, you know, getting the welfare, getting the foods, you know, getting the food stamps, getting the cash flow, you know, just to, you know, to keep bettering themselves for 18 years, and they feel like they comfortable for 18 years when
they pushing that call, they pushing that agenda on our community.
They push it, and you know a lot of
that's so true.
You know a lot of who's pushing it, the Democratic Party. Sorry, I gotta go there. That's a lot of our problem. And until we start adopting more of a neo-political or conservative stance in terms of our communities, I mean more moderate, not all the way to the right, we're gonna continue to flounder. Because all Democrats have done is giving us a tit to suck, and it's dry.
Yeah.
You know, just like
what we got.
Just like we got Juneteenth, with Juneteenth coming up, right?
Right.
And then you know what's bleeding in with Juneteenth. You got the alphabet community.
Yep.
You see how they put that together?
Yeah.
Quick too.
That's crazy how all this happens.
Like, but just like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, Joe, when it comes to politics, like Obama. I'm just saying, a lot of people look at Obama because, he's a black man, we put him in office. You don't realize Obama once signed that bill for this stuff to go with these marriages now.
Yeah,
but we in our community.
That's when it came out the closet.
Yeah, but then in our community, we go by because of the color of our skin. I'm gonna say another thing. Joe Biden. I'm gonna say that for example, who are like Joe Biden. I don't care. I don't keep up with it. He got Kamora, who's a mixed woman, because he know that blacks are gonna fall for it.
Right.
Because we're so naive and gullible to stuff. Anytime they put some black on it, we're gonna run with it.
Yeah,
If they say they believe in Jesus Christ, we run for it. Oh, he's a believer. I'm voting for him. All of his it's WWE. It's all kayfabe.
But you know what? Here's the thing: we condition like that because look at how they market consumer products to us. Every McDonald's commercial with black folks got a rap beat in the background.
Yep.
Just look at things like that. They telling you. You can look at any society, but how the retail markets to their consumers. You can tell what they think of them. They tell us every day what they think of us. What we do, keep doing, keep peeling off money. The one voice we have, the one bullet in the chamber we have is our economic voice, and we don't use it.
And we don't.
No, we're the commodity.
Yeah.
We're the commodity.
We're
We're
the
the $1 trillion industry.
right.
You know? Now, how smart would it be if we took that those trillions of dollars and circulated those trillions of dollars amongst ourselves? We would rid our own poverty, but we're not smart enough, wise enough to do that. And why is that? Why can't that be a new trend? We love trends. We love BBLs. We love fashion. We love all these things that make us spend the dinero. So why can't we create a nucleus of pooling that money back into our own communities, our own resources?
Every example in the past where that was done, where there was a burgeoning Black Wall Street, it was literally rape, pillage, and burned to the ground. The second reason is this generation, before the advent of the internet, we were not educated in Midas such as finance and such as commerce. They too busy teaching us how to fry chicken and sing and dance for them. But the issues that we should have been learning, we weren't learning. But see, now that we have the internet and now that we have these talks, now we can get things popping, educate ourselves, and get our money and our generational wealth on.
Don't call that guy line boss. Don't call that guy line boss.
So how we gonna stop hating on each other and spend money in our own community? You know, how we gonna now? How's that gonna happen? That's the big.
Well, before we do that, as an entrepreneur, before we do that, we need to identify those needs, and then we have to identify individuals that are capable to be trained on how to provide those services and need. So in order to clean up and create this new trend, we have to clean up our own act and identify the areas of services that we need, and then start branding and building and training those individuals. Now, the federal government puts out all these monies to various nonprofits, particularly nonprofits where the money goes right back into, the other community. And by the time the money's trickled down to our community, they're getting millions, we're getting thousands.
And the thing is, in running a nonprofit, a lot of those bigger grants aren't available to smaller, like nonprofits like mine at this point. But can I respond to something that somebody just posted in the chat?
Yeah,
He asked Mr. Thompson asked about an event where us men can get together and talk. I'm holding a virtual event on June 15th called the Metta Men Summit. I have speakers there. Subsequent to the speakers, we'll have like an open forum where people can come in and ask questions and engage. And I'll be on a panel. I have Banky Pound there, a few other speakers. So there's something that I'm trying to create a safe space where us men can get together and talk and open up and do some healing, and then hopefully improve things for all of us.
Yeah,
That's great.
And before going any further, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Talk to me.
You gotta trust, Mike. Trust yourself. Trust the universe.
What? Marcus,
I got this, Mike.
what you don't know?
Be gone, Gator.
I rebuke you.
See, Mike, that's how you command the universe.
That mother racist, Mike. That mother racist.
Bad Boys. Presenting Vivint. Vivint is a best-in-class, professionally installed security system of cameras, lights, locks, and more. And those bits and bobs don't just record crime, they help prevent it. Cheerio, criminals. Get hassle-free smart security with Vivint. Click or call today.
He said, okay.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back here on the Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. The name of the show is called The Community and Mental Health. We have George Brooks from Metta Association here in the DFW. We have Patricia Law, entrepreneur and founder of W.O.M.B in my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. I also have Carl Roberts in the building. He's a motivational speaker, RiseandElevate LLC in Fort Worth, Texas. Also, we have Chassie. She's an entrepreneur herself. Also, my co-host here on the Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast out of my hometown of Mobile. And we thank everybody for their input. We thank everybody for their feedback as we're talking about things to help us grow as a people, as individuals. Cleaning up on the inside. Everything starts on the inside, right? Clean up the inside, clean up the mind, getting the help that you need. But the first they teach in AA meetings. In AA meetings, they teach you first off, admit that you have a problem. You know, drop out pride, drop out ego. Don't blame everybody, but say what the church people say, "Woe is me, standing in need of prayer," or the church folks say. Right. But coming to the knowledge of self and say, you know what, it's me. I make the decisions because the stuff I made, I did out of my ignorance. Even Paul talked about that in the Bible. We did a lot of stuff out of our ignorance. Now we know better. We should be doing better. But when we know better and we start doing better, are we passing information along, or are we still keeping it to ourselves once we know better now?
Well, can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
real quick, because I want to kind of go on depression, and coming out in the four walls. Because a lot of people that I meet are going through the depression, that mental stake in their mind, and it sends them to hanging themselves and all kind of stuff, doing stuff to themselves that they don't supposed to be doing. That depression is real.
Yes.
I'm saying that depression is real. Like if you just keep looking, imagine you looking at the four walls and nobody to talk to, nobody to communicate with, and you just stand at by yourself. You don't know what you're gonna do. You really don't. Like depression. Oh man.
Yeah. You're right. And our people are suffering in that area, particularly in rural communities. You have no idea the primitive lifestyles that some individuals. I was in Selma, Alabama a few weeks ago, and some of the houses still look like they're from primitive times. And poverty is definitely linked to a lot of mental issues and depression. So since we know that poverty is the issue, why are we not putting our funds together? So you can't wait on somebody to save you. Sometimes you got to save yourself.
But let me say this too.
Right.
We got some good old Democrats. I hate to hear you say that. Wait on us. Wait on us to give you something. Wait a minute. Don't do it on your own. Now, there's too much like them. Wait, there's too much of how they got ahead. Those Hispanics that are coming to the country and now they have businesses. That's how they're doing it. So this keep that away from you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say there's too. Those who are, especially here in Texas, we have a lot of Mexicans who do cross over here in Texas, and but they get shipped right back, but they come back. But they get stuff on their own. And then you look at it too, different other nationalities, whether the Italians, the Mexicans, the Spanish, whatever, Asians, they all come together. And what they do, they keep that within their community. And then before you know it, they start in one house. It'd be a whole bunch of them living in one house.
Yep.
And what they do is they put their money together, then they'll buy another house. Then they buy another house, and they own the whole entire block. But when it comes to us, we don't do that.
But y'all know all that is by design. Look at the stores they allow in our communities. Dollar stores, which is nothing wrong with it. Gun stores, liquor stores. That's what they allow. High interest loans, predatory loans, things.
We talked about that earlier.
We're always a target.
Yeah, we always gonna be a target. But here's the thing: how much longer are we gonna keep falling for? We keep seeing the trash, but we keep walking straight to them.
Exactly.
It's like sheep. It's sheep. Like a sheep. Like a sheep is the dumbest animal. The gate could be open, and that sheep gonna stay right there.
Right.
And that's how we look. They look at, they sheep. The door open for us, but we'll see.
Well, a lot of the problems, we are all sheep, but a lot of us following the wrong shepherd as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
The
you know,
master
Speaking of shepherds,
speaking
of shepherds,
I'll go ahead.
Speaking of shepherds, and I want to say this too. Our ministers, our preachers, I'm so sorry. There are some good preachers out there. I applaud those, but they're not fulfilling the role of being, to me, true men of God. Because if you are really true men of God, and I had one preacher tell me, a local preacher, a pretty well-known preacher, and he said, you know why the preachers don't get things done? Because they don't get along amongst themselves either. Even the preachers are competitive towards one another. So if you feel that way about another man of God, then of course the sheep is definitely lost, like you said.
But I'm gonna say these
They're not gonna go out the gate, right?
I'm gonna say this, Pat, too. Them pastors, they all tied in the same game with the government. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
because they get funded from the government. Yeah, they get funded from the government.
And see, the problem is with these
to be quiet, hush money.
Right.
And so the leader, so you saying so the leaders can't even come together. You talking about the leaders?
Carl,
when you see men here in Mobile, they arrested a preacher just yesterday for sodomizing someone, a child. Okay, right. I mean, it's insane. And then on Facebook, there's another preacher and his first gentleman, not first lady. He's referred to him as the first gentleman of the church, and they're posing for the camera. So sin is at an all-time high.
Well,
okay?
the thing is, oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I think one point you lead into is that people tend to deify our pastors. We tend to put them above what they are. And we
they program.
I never have.
But see, you know how some people tie their faith until they pastor so strong that when they pastor falls off, they just shaking and broken. And it's not about the pastor; it's about your faith.
But religion has also been a form of brainwash. Control.
It's a game too, but also it's a game because they program that way. Just like how me and you talk.
Right.
The pastor got them food that they talk to God just like how we talk. That we type like that, Manuno. We type like that. So they program them like that, to think like that. And I'm gonna tell you also what they do is, okay, a lot of these pastors are doing dirt, but what they go, this what they how they play people. You got to catch the pattern. Yeah. Okay, I catch you. Okay, for George, you were down and out. I could be helping you, taking care of you, looking out for you, give you a couple dollars here and there. Soon I fall short. What's gonna happen? I can't turn my back on him because he was down there for me.
Right.
It's a game of manipulation and control. Yeah, if I do stuff for you, if I get caught up, you're not gonna turn your back on me because you know why? Because I was there for you when you was down in the slum.
Yeah,
see the game they do?
Yeah, even if you guilt, it's all a guilt game. It's all a hustle. Yeah.
So one thing about these churches now is most of these churches are just businesses. They're not churches of God, because if you go to these big churches, you're not going to truly get a word of God. What you're going to get is encouragement and
that's
speak
it's motivational
everybody.
Well, not motivational speaking,
and that's why I always say this. There are certain elements of my recovery that have been important, that have been spiritual, and they have become exclusive of a house of worship to go to, because my faith was developed in my own moments, in my own quiet moments of introspection and prayer with God. So I don't need a church. I don't need a pastor. So some people do. If you do, more power to you. But when that pastor falls off because he's of the flesh just like you, just don't get surprised. If you want to be the type, don't worry about that. I just want to allow his message. I know he flawed, damn his flaws. His message hit me where I needed to be hit. Then you go with that too. But you find what works with you. But you got to find something.
I just know
Yes.
I
I
think
knew it was all about money. Like I went to the Potter's house. And I ain't trying to offend nobody, but that's my experience. When I went, ship me in on the bus from the parking lot, they sit you down, show you where to sit. They preach a little bit. He wasn't even there. And they get on the loudspeaker and tell everybody. I'm from a small church, so I'm used to the basket getting passed around.
Yes.
You just putting what you can put in there.
Yes.
They were everybody put in $500.
Yeah.
Oh,
What the mess is going on?
Are you serious?
Like, well, and then after that, they ship you right back out. But they say now at the door you can get videos of the show, and that'll be another $20.
Yeah.
it's by
It's
profit.
amusement. I mean, nobody's denying that churches are definitely an industry. They always have been. I mean, nobody's denying that. I mean, now you have churches with full marketing department. Nothing
yes.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
But be transparent as far as what
But the community is suffering. You
Right.
know, to me, a real church is the type of church that builds and grows and supports its members. You know, if you've got churches on every block, when there are houses that become empty or available, why not take some of those tithes and offerings and invest in those properties, flip those properties, and give that money, circulate that money back to your sheep?
They do.
That makes too much sense.
Here's the thing, they do, but it's all going back into the pastor's pocket.
Right.
Exactly.
They have land. They invest in land. They invest in property. You look at any pastor, I bet you he owns at least 2-3 pieces of property.
Oh,
I don't care if he
They got a
shop.
nice house and car.
They got nice house cars, and nothing wrong with that. If you
Right.
get nice
Nothing
things,
wrong with that.
more power to you. But don't think that somehow these churches are lacking of resources, because the pastors are not. They keep it in people. They moving in people's names. They do things like that. It's all the hustle. They know what they're doing. It's all the game. But we
It's so
I don't want us. But here's what I want to avoid. I want us to avoid that, fall into that, getting so hung up on the person and the character that we lose sight of what's really important. And I think what is really important is to try to foster an environment where even if someone is corrupt or wrong, that we can glean something from the message as positive and turn it to something that way. Because otherwise, we'll never get nothing done if we worry about.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So in setting a new trend, okay, since we love trends, we want the latest fashion, the latest Jordans, or what have you. Why can't we create a trend of coming together, supporting each other, and building, investing? If it's a $1, if you invest $1 and you've got 1 million people investing $1, you still have $1 million. And set it up to where we purchase land areas where we build our own communities. I mean, it can be done if we're spending trillions and trillions of dollars on nonsense. Why can't we spend trillions on things that make sense?
Right. And I think if people are serious, then I know those of us in the DFW, let's do a feasibility study and see about creating a community fund where something can be done. I'm not one that wants to sit around and talk about things. It's time for us to stop sitting around talking and time for us to get to doing. So y'all got my contact.
Well, I want to salute us for taking time out of our schedules to be on this podcast this evening, because I'm sure there's many others like this. However, I'm grateful for, the steps that we're taking. So in essence, preferably, we can set the standard and find out who else agrees, and that's how we build.
Let's do it.
It's like Nike. Was it Nike? Just do it, and that's what it is. being a willing vessel to make things happen. It starts today, right? So it starts today.
That's right.
And on that note, I do have to chime out in about 6 minutes. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead. You think? Go ahead.
I do have to leave at 8. I apologize.
Okay. No, you good. You good, Pat. Thank you, though. You good.
Yes, but I want to
Like I
leave
said,
with saying this, if I may. I want to leave with saying this. It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure meeting with you guys. Let's continue the dialogue, okay? And the one thing that I'm working wholeheartedly with is through the W.O.M.B organization is raising and saluting our brothers, encouraging them to know that they are very important. And I think that can play a valuable role in the shift that we need in order to create a new trend and a new way of thinking. Yes.
Right.
So thank you. I apologize. I do have to leave, and I still have 5 minutes.
Hey, we appreciate you, Pat, for hanging in with us and taking time to your
Absolutely, my
schedule
pleasure.
to
My
be on here
pleasure.
tonight. And I know
My pleasure.
the work ethic. I know we could a lot of time we can help people, but at the same time, it's all about holding other individuals accountable too. It's the work ethic. We
Right.
see a lot of people in this generation do not want to work. For some odd reason, they fit, and they go back to social media because social media now they're monetizing individuals now where they feel like I don't need to go get a job. I can just sit on here and post all day and get paid. But then they're not actually getting out.
Yeah, but Mr. Jackson, it's like my kids, for instance. I'm 50, so the kids we steady giving them stuff. We steady giving them stuff, and they don't know how to get it themselves. And we holding them. We hold them to start working and start doing these all these other things, and we just kind of cripple them a little bit. I think we kind of to stand on their own 2 feet.
There's definitely a prevalence of baby boy syndrome in our communities that we need to strike against vehemently because it's choking the life out of our communities.
Yeah,
That's true.
This infantilism, this keeping our young men in infinitesimal state.
Oh yeah,
By
not that bad.
It starts when they're young and they raised by single mothers, and the mothers overcompensate. And I don't want to denigrate single mothers at all. Y'all have done a wonderful job, but y'all did a job y'all should not have had to do.
Alone. You're right.
It's not natural for y'all to have had to do that job. I salute y'all, but it wasn't fair to y'all. Okay. Now, if you had a child on your own by choice, then that's a whole other thing. I'm just being real.
Yeah, because a lot of them George weren't expecting to have children. It just got caught up in the moment, the passion, and the child just came out of it.
Don't know child, just appear.
Thank you.
Well, because you don't plan no child. If you want to plan a child, it's different. But if you gonna have sex, and then a lot of people don't even know a lot of people don't know they're pregnant until they get tested. They find they're pregnant. They don't go into getting somebody pregnant.
I say this: if you are engaging in activities that can result in somebody being pregnant, you're not prepared as a man. It's your field.
That's you're right. That's your fault. But
you know what it takes to do it.
But now right.
But one more thing. But now that the children are here, and if we're one thing that I've noticed is that life skills is very low in our communities. I mean, just proper etiquette, various etiquette. I mean, we got brothers still walking around with their underwear showing. You walking around sagging. That looks so bad. And I'm like, when is that style going out of style?
It's not.
And then the illiteracy factor. Right. I mean, many of our people, if you can't do anything else, know how to read. Read. If you can't read, you can't think. Because if you don't know what a word means, how do you know how to form a sentence? How do you know how to express yourself? So we dumbed ourselves down so much.
Right.
I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. And you can't expect a third grade child to read on his level if the parent can't read on a third grade level.
But I tell you where a lot of this started. It started with my generation. I'm 46. Us Gen Xers, I think a lot. Well, this is just my observation. a lot of us sort of overcompensated with our kids.
That's
So we were
right.
more lenient than where we should have been. So we allowed a lot of things we shouldn't have allowed, and now we're seeing the consequences.
That's
Now we're
right.
seeing the end result of us having not maybe been as stern, because we were raised very sternly. Like you hear us all the time, my generation say, if I done that, my mom been slapped me, I still be trying to wake up.
Yeah.
We made sure on purpose we didn't do that with our kids because we thought that was too harsh, and we trying to find a middle ground.
We try to.
And then you have all these influencers from society, like social media, saying, well, don't whip your kids or whip your kids. And so we go back and forth on that issue alone. So, that's what we have to keep.
But that's certainly crippling the child.
It is
crippling them. If you
parent.
if you can't read, I mean, it's over with. You're basically feeding the school to prison pipeline.
Oh, and let's talk about the pipeline. The prison system is its own industrial complex. It's its own economy.
Yeah,
that's why they try to keep.
It's a $1 billion industry.
Yeah, we talked about that Saturday on the show.
It's definitely an industry. That's why they don't want to address the mental health of those that are incarcerated on an appreciable level, especially not post-incarceration. That's why resources are so hard. Once you come out, they expect and guarantee and hope and count on you coming.
Recidivism. The recidivism rate.
Yeah. My nonprofit fights recidivism. Don't you know that in the end, that up to 90% are prone to recidivism?
Absolutely. When many of their families kick them to the curb anyway, and many of these individuals that become incarcerated are poor already. So when you go out here and get in trouble and you need a lawyer that your family can't afford, so you're going to be tossed off like a piece of garbage, right, or another file on somebody's a lawyer's desk. And the files are stacked so high, they don't have the time to give your case the attention that it needs.
We have to understand this about the criminal justice system. It's not really racist. It's racist, but it's classist. Whoever has the most money wins.
Mm-hmm. I know someone that spent $30,000 on a case that should not have given their loved one the time that they received. So $30,000, and this was recently, and they still gave him maximum time for something really minuscule. It was it didn't warrant the time that they gave him. And I would have to beg to differ that if you are giving brothers particularly 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years for something that is so minuscule, that is insane. But if you're calculating that person's life as livestock, okay, then who cares? First of all, you're hated in the first place.
Right.
Black men are despised, which is wrong, because Black men should be saluted. I feel that Black men should be treated as kings, but of course we know the system changed that. But however, if we continue to play into the trap, that's the problem that we have to own. But good night, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Good night.
Also, I know we at the time mark anyway. We got to do another show on this one as well.
Let's do another show, please.
Oh yeah, most definitely gonna do another one. So before we get to the part, George, go ahead and plug your information. How can people follow you and support the work that you're doing?
All right, I'm holding the Metta Men's Summit on June 15th. It'll be virtual. You can follow me on my Facebook, George P. Brooks on Facebook. You can reach me at 214-810-6518 for public speaking or any kind of collaboration. And you can also email me at gbrooks@mettaassociation.org.
And also as well, Carl, thank you as well. Carl, same question. How can we support you? And go ahead and plug all your information.
Hey, my name is Carl Roberts. You can reach me at Rise and Elevate on Facebook, Rise and Elevate, all one word. You can email me at riseandelevatecr@gmail.com, or you can find me on TikTok. I'm at TikTok, the @ symbol, at TikTok. If you want some motivation, you want some dedication to get your life started right and get some excitement up in your life, call your boy, the motivator, Carl Roberts.
And also, thank you, Carl, for hanging in with us and always coming on the show as well. Chastity, same as you as well. Thank you for being my co-host on the show. Go ahead and plug your information. How can we support you as well in the work that you're doing also?
You can find me at Chastity Lobos on Facebook, as well as my shop, Graceful Affirmations. First of all, I just want to say thank you all for being on the show. It was a great, informative show. It was a lot. Definitely got to do a part 2, probably part 3. But I definitely enjoyed it. So thank you all.
Hey, that's what it's all about. It's all about being a solution.
Yeah.
Be the solution, not the problem. That's from my t-shirt line. Be the solution, not the problem. It is available on my website. So I will post a link. Go ahead and cop a shirt. It's all about merchandise as well. And also, as you said, merchandise as well. Also, so we want to support our businesses, want to support the brands, and support the work that individuals are doing as well. Also, so we don't want to forget about the people who are putting the work, who are putting the grind each and every day. And we don't want to forget. We all got to support our community, right? So we got to support our community, take our hard-earned money, and pour into people's lives who are doing great things. I'm excited. I'm very excited. This is some up and up thing. I'm very excited about what's going on. We're transpiring. It's never a downtime. It's always an uplifting time, right? To know who you are, grab your identity, learn your identity, and move on. And I'm going to say this too. Remember, the man is the head of the household, but the wife, she's the keeper of the home. And we forget about that. The man is the head of the household, and this is in the Bible. The man is the head of the household, but the wife, she's the keeper of the home.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to put that in perspective. By nature, she's to help me. And I'm gonna say this too. By nature, the woman's to help me. But fellas, if you don't give her nothing to help with,
Right.
she's gonna move on.
That's right.
Because by nature, she's to help me. And I gotta say that about Dr. Miles Monroe. He said something very important one time, and God rest his soul. And he said he was at a conference, a men's conference. He was saying with me as a woman to marry them, he said the woman's response should be, okay, what's the vision is. And we say that, he said the woman's response should be, what's the vision is. So if I'm marrying you, where we're going, what it's taking, what it's leading. Because you got to have something to run with. You got to have something to help with. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not all about, people think marriage is love. Okay, we love, that's it. Ooh. But I look at marriage as being legacy purpose. It's all about building your kingdom and building your empire. And it's all about having that right individual to accumulate these things with. I'm not talking about material aspect, but the spiritual aspect of it, that makes sense.
Yes.
So if a guy asks you to marry them, ask them what the vision is.
There it is.
Because we talked about this earlier. Remember, Chad, we talked about this earlier in the show. Back in the day, if a man, first you had to go talk to the father if you wanted to marry the daughter.
That's right.
And the father was going to sit you down and he going to ask you, what is the plan you have for my daughter? For one, even though my daughter's leaving the household, I got to make sure that this man whom he wants to, she's taken care of, that she's protected, and she won't be hurt. We need to implement that back in our community.
That's right. That's right.
And the same thing for the guys. If you see a wife who, the Bible says when a man finds a wife, finds a good thing, of course.
Amen.
But fellas, make sure her character is lined up.
Yes.
That would mix me up too. And I'm just gonna be saying it. When we talk about this on the show, remember the ladies. Remember when a girlfriend, a friend of girl would say, "Hey, I want you to meet this girl that I know. She has a great personality." First thing the guy would say, "Oh, she must be ugly."
How she look.
Yeah, how she look. Because that was how we was based off of. But the friend girl was trying to get you to see it's about her personality. And don't get me wrong, it's some women who may not look like a Beyonce, may not look like a Rihanna on a physical level, but their character makes them sexy. Their character makes them attractive. Because you have a good looking individual, but it's the attitude that makes them ugly. You know what I'm saying?
But the men need to bring that chivalry back.
Yes.
But see what it is, Carl. They
to-
want to impress other people.
Right.
That's the problem. They want to impress other people. They want this good looking woman on their own for accommodation. They don't want to walk in with they don't want to walk in with a woman who may be average looking. She may not get all the attention. Yeah, plain Jane. She may not get all the attention, but she's a very asset to your life. You know what makes sense?
They don't even open the car door. They use their alarm, click it, beep, beep. That's it, and let them walk in by themselves.
But I have to say, we allow it though. One thing I can't say, Steve Harvey said, a man only does what a woman allows him to do. So if you allow the man to click, click, and you get in, let me tell you, I wish my husband would click, click, and don't open that door. Who finna get in the car? We gonna stay here till you figure out why I'm still standing here. No.
But you notice they target. But if you notice, they target females with low self-esteem.
Yes. Yes.
If they get a, I don't want to say a woman, because a woman knows what she wants, but a female, they target females who insecure. Yeah. That's why they feel like, oh, I got somebody. He dogging them out, taking their car and everything that belong. They say, I got somebody.
Yeah.
That's what, if you notice, that's who they target, Carl. They target females with low self-esteem.
Yep. And they keep their self-esteem low.
And they keep their self-esteem low. So if I get her with low self-esteem, I can manipulate her, take advantage of her. She feel like I got somebody and I'm giving her some in return.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the word on social media, but in return.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's what you ever notice the pattern. That's what they always target.
Yep. Because it's easy.
There you go.
Easy. You ain't got to work for nothing. All you got to do is, hey, you beautiful. And that's it. They give you whatever you want.
Easy way out.
Yep.
That's what they target. They always target. But we're going to have to do that again. We're going to talk about that. But like I said, man, y'all have a great night. Enjoy your night. I know this after time. We got to get off this thing. We'll be back here Saturday morning, 10 a.m. here on Walking This Way's Impact Voice Podcast. Oh, yeah. Also, Carl, go ahead. I know you got an event you're going to be attending to tomorrow, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and plug that in before we leave up there.
Yeah, speaking at an event, Steven's event at in Frisco at the Star. It starts at they're gonna have free margaritas from 4:30 to 5:30, and then we're gonna have speakers. I come on first about at 6 o'clock to 6:15. They give me 15 minutes to speak. I'm gonna motivate the crowd. We got Mr. U in the building. We got Steven in the building, and we're gonna be going on alignment. We're gonna be talking about alignment. So y'all come out, support. It's free event. Enjoy yourself. Get your life in alignment, and we're gonna motivate you and get you in alignment some way, in some fashion. We're gonna get you at your seats, guys. I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. We all sticking together, and we doing this community thing, sticking together. Thanks to Steven, SRO 135. Field of Dreams at there. We all gonna have Field of Dreams, guys. We're gonna go to the next level.
And that's it. So if you're 10 in tomorrow, make sure you have your pen and notepad, get some notes, go to class, attend school, and get all this great information that you need. Any information that you get, good information. Get it, apply it, and just overlook it. So, but like I said, we'll be back here Saturday morning. We're gonna be at 10 a.m. Saturday. Yeah, have a great night. Peace, everybody.
Good night.